Did you know that there are 48 maps in the game of Dead by Daylight? Did you also know that 23 of those maps belong to 4 realms? Yeah. Almost half of the maps in the game belong to 4 realms. That would be McMillan, Azerovs, Cockwind, and Badham. That is 8 maps for McMillan, 5 for Cockwind, 5 for Azerov, and 5 for Badham. That is a ridiculous amount of maps that can basically repeat themselves over and over again. And that's not counting some of the realms that have 2 to 3 variations, like Swamps or Father Campbell's Chapel or Red Forest, which Red Forest actually has a couple of variations. It's got 2 versions of Sheltered Woods, and then it has the Mother's Dwelling, and then it has Templar Purgation, which is all just absolutely atrocious. There is an atrocious amount of repeat aesthetics in this game. And this leads to a lot of issues. Now, a while back, Behavior implemented what they called the map repeat prevention feature. Essentially, not counting map offerings. If you play on a map, then your next match will not be the same map. But that is a map prevention feature, not a realm prevention feature, which means that even with RNG kind of being a big part of the game, you can, and I have experienced this, end up in the same exact realm, seeing the same exact shit over and over and over again. And this kind of thing is very frustrating to me because I like diversity, right? I think that what keeps games fresh is different things, different aesthetics, different play styles. And one of the things that I loved about Dead by Daylight is that every game has the opportunity or the chance to go differently based off of where you're playing and what the survivors are running and who the killer is and things like that. So even if you yourself tend to bring, say, the same build over and over again, things will still go differently depending on how everybody plays and depending on the map you load into. But it gets really frustrating when you play on, for example, Gas Station, and then it's immediately followed up by Blood Lodge, and the next thing you know, you're going to Azerov's resting place, and it just keeps going and going and going, and you're like, come on, man. Or Badham. One time I had to play on Badham 3 matches in a row, no offerings, and it went Badham 2, Badham 4, and Badham 5. And this is actually something that I've always wanted to talk about in a video. Why are there 5 Badhams? Because I challenge you, I dare you to explain to me the viable difference between the 5 of them. Because I can only ever remember 2, right? The difference between the 5 of them, by the way, is what side of the school the buildings end up on. The buildings are always the same. They're always the same buildings. It's just what side of the school they end up spawning on that creates the different variations. And I don't like that. First off, I don't think there needs to be any variations in Badham. I think Badham should just be a one singular map. And the reason for that is because we have 10 chapters where we got no map. I'm not even counting half chapters. I'm talking just straight up 10 chapters where we got no map. So my solution, and I understand some of you are going to go, oh, this is not realistic. Shut up. My solution is to get rid of all these variations, right? Bring Badham from 5 to 1. Bring all of the McMillan, get rid of all the secondary McMillan variations that you guys came up with, right? Because they did all those McMillan variations, take all those away, revert all that shit back, and instead you can add the Cannibal's Farmhouse for Leatherface. Maybe it would be similar to Cockwind, but you can change the lighting. You can do something different. You can set it in Texas, right? And you can even put different stuff around the farm. We could have the log cabin in the middle of the forest for Ash. So we could have another forest that isn't the red forest, and it can look different with different lighting and different coloring and different decorations. We could have the supermarket from the Ghostface trailer, which seems actually hella fun. Like, imagine I was thinking about this earlier. Imagine a supermarket where the exit gates are the employees only room or something like that, or a back door. And then the front doors are the exit gates. Like those are the two. That would be so cool to have a map with another map with static exit gates. Because right now the only map with static exit gates that I know of is RPD. RPD is the only map with static exit gates, both variations. Every other map changes. Even like Leary's and Gideon's, they're typically across from each other, but their location changes. So the supermarket could be another map where the exit gates are static, and that would be cool. For Blight, we could have ended up in the Blighted Forest or even his mansion, something that belonged to Talbot while he was researching everything. I don't know why we didn't. For the Binding of Kin, we could get the French countryside, which would be fascinatingly open, and it would be nice because we don't have a lot of maps that are typically wide open anymore. A lot of those have been ditched for littering the maps with a bunch of bullshit. So it'd be cool to have like a French countryside type thing. With All Kill, I've always thought it would be cool if we could have a concert hall. That was Trickster, by the way. Just some neon streets that lead into a giant concert theater hall type thing. To me, that would be one of the coolest things ever. One of the gens could be on stage, but it'd be very open. But you also have a lot of chairs to block line of sight, and you have a lot of. You could probably put pallets in there. You could have windows off the stage. You could have a curtain that lets you drop backstage and drop out of line of sight. Just stuff like that. For Hellraiser, I don't know why we didn't get a Hellraiser map. I heard somewhere, I don't know how true this is, but I heard somewhere that they were going to put a Hellraiser map, but they didn't want it to be too sexual. Gideon's meat plant has a naked woman frozen solid in the refrigerator. I think we could have had whips and chains and cages. Michaela, I thought would have been cool if she came with like a little library. It could be probably one of the smaller indoor maps, but like a library with a foyer, a couple of floors, an elevator, things like that. We could have had so much. For Sadako, we could have had a Japanese bamboo forest, which would have been very, very interesting. Some people say that it would have been too similar to Yamoka Estates, but no. I'm talking about a forest, right? Yamoka Estates is kind of like a wide open area. I think we could have had an actual bamboo forest for Sadako with the well being the main area. And then with Chucky, we either could have had the toy factory or Andy's house. So if we went back in and we just added maps and connected it to these 10 chapters and then reduced all of the variations that we have in the current maps, then we would end up with a lot more map variety. And it would be far more interesting, and it would be less of a chance for you to just see the same shit over and over and over again. But as always, I don't make these videos to spout my opinions at you. I make these videos so I can hear your thoughts. So please let me know what you think down below. And as always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on the screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today and get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.